Jack and his friends wanted to build small boats in a swimming pool to see whose boat would float the steadiest. The winner would get $50,000. They each had a $1,000 budget and went to a furniture store to pick materials. David, wanting to mimic survival on a deserted island, bought plastic sheets and foam boards. Jack chose foam boards and plastic boxes, thinking they'd have great buoyancy. George picked plastic barrels and wooden planks. After shopping, they started building their boats. Jack first glued the plastic boxes together, attached them to the foam boards, and fixed the edges he was sure it was solid enough. George secured 4 plastic barrels, laid wooden planks over them, then wrapped everything with tape. David tied plastic tubes together with tape and covered the surface with foam boards. Soon, the 3 boats were finished, and they couldn't wait to test them in the pool. In the first tests, Jack's boat stayed steady whether he sat or stood on it. David's boat, however, fell apart the moment he sat down. George's boat could barely be straddled but nearly tipped over. The host then gave them time to modify their boats. George added a layer of foam under the hull and even made himself a seat. David rebuilt his into a sandwich board structure, which was much more stable. Then came the envelope drawing game. Jack drew envelope 17th, which meant he had to carry 10 kilograms of weight. That was no small load, and he grew nervous. George surprisingly drew the prize envelope. What luck! Next, David drew a +1 kg card, and the host gave him a dumbbell, which he handled easily. But George then drew a card that made David compete in a fishing game. He had to hook a heavy fire extinguisher from the water. It was too hard, and David gave up, earning himself an extra 5 kilograms instead. Jack later drew an increase of only 0.1 kilograms, practically nothing. But while doing dumbbell exercises, David wobbled and fell into the water, becoming the first one out. Then George drew a dart throwing challenge where he had to pop balloons. The first 2 darts missed, but the third hit. Jack, however, missed all his throws and got 5 kilograms, though his boat remained steady. Jack's next card allowed him to give an opponent to 16 kilograms. George's boat instantly started sinking, and he had to use his feet to push himself up. Clearly, Jack won the prize in the end, but the punishment turned out to be drinking herring can brine and washing their faces with shoe polish. Absolutely disgusting.